Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is Honorable Kingsley Akumefule. Honorable Kingsley is a political analyst and a regular on Open Conversation. Good morning, Honorable Kingsley.
Good morning, Laurentia. Good morning, Nigerians.
And on to the story. Governor Simlaye Fubara of Rivers State has stated that his government will implement the recent Supreme Court judgment on the state's lingering political crisis without reservation. Fubara said that although his government disagrees with the judgment, they are bound to obey it as a law-abiding administration. ATN reports that the Appellate Court had ruled that funds would be released to Fubara's government only when a lawful appropriation law is enacted under the Martin Amehule speakership. In the judgment delivered on Friday by Justice Emmanuel Akomaye Agem, the Supreme Court also ordered the 27 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly to resume their functions immediately. Reacting to the ruling, Fubara directed the head of administration to take over the management of local government affairs in the state until the next council elections are held. The governor said, "We are all aware of the Supreme Court's judgment and pronouncement regarding the lingering political crisis in our dear state. Although we disagree with the judgment, we are bound to obey it as a law-abiding government. We have conducted the affairs of our government within the framework of our constitution and the rule of law. While we are not above mistakes because we are human, we have not, as a government, trampled on the rule of law. I have had a meeting with my team of lawyers and they assured me that the certified true copy of the judgment may be available to me on Friday. I assure you that upon its receipt, we will implement the judgment without any reservation to move the state forward." The governor also announced that heads of local government administration have been instructed to take over the administration of the 23 local government areas in the state. He said, "Furthermore, given the outlawing of caretaker arrangements in the local government system, I hereby direct the heads of local government administration to immediately take over the administration of 23 local government councils pending the conduct of fresh elections by the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission. I further direct the outgoing local government chairman to formally hand over the levers of power to the heads of local government administration by Monday, 3rd March 2025. Honorable Kingsley Akumefule, what do you make of this development?
Yes, thank you. First and foremost, I think that let me thank the learned jurist for actually doing the right thing in that judgment. We had looked up to them for doing what they just did, and I'm very grateful that they touched the hearts of Nigerians by that judgment. First, the governor saying that he will obey that judgment. He doesn't have an option. He doesn't have an option. It is a judgment of the Supreme Court. So all those conflicting statements, because a lot of the statements he made were very conflicting and very unruly.
What do you mean when you say unruly?
Yes. First, you said you disagree with the judgment of the Supreme Court. You don't have option. You don't even have the right to say you disagree with the judgment of the Supreme Court. The judgment has come and you must take it the way it is. You don't tell Nigerians that you disagree. Now, having disagreed with the judgment, and you still went further to say you are going to study the judgment after your lawyers must have gotten the certified true copy. Yet you still said you are going to obey. These statements are very conflicting, and I think that these are very wrong things to be said by a governor that was democratically elected and confirmed by the same Supreme Court that he said he disagreed with their judgment. That was very unruly of him. Now, secondly, for a governor of a state who have heard, in fact, he was in the court, whether he was there directly or through his legal team, now tells Nigeria that he is going to study again before he understands what the judgment has said. For me, it was also wrong. Another mistake he has also made, whether knowingly or unknowingly, is when he asks the HLGS to take over the leadership of the local government areas. It was wrong of him.
What should he have done?
As by the virtue of that judgment, the judgment has recognized Martin Zamehule as the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. It therefore means that every laws that have been made by Martin Zamehule and his team were legal, acceptable, and right.
Okay.
And so, before now, Martin Zamehule and his other members have extended the tenure of the local government chairman for 6 months.
Right.
And remember that the runnings of local government are under the supervision and the supervision of the state assemblies. And now, if the state assembly led by Martin Zamehule had made a law and said, because the governor did not follow the laid down rules by the electoral laws, by fixing the local government election, and for that reason, rather than allowing the government to run without leadership, they extended the tenure of the former local government chairman. And that should have been the position of the law, because the Supreme Court recognized Martin Zamehule as the authentic speaker.
Now, one would say that that tenure was extended. It was supposed to expire December, correct?
They have not resumed office.
Okay.
It was when they have resumed office, they've not been allowed to run.
Okay. So you're saying that they have to expend that tenure?
That is sure, because
All
it
right.
was the legally constituted assembly led by Martin Zamehule that made that law.
Okay.
And because that law was not obeyed as at the time the law was made, and the governor brought in this illegal local government area chairman. And now also directing this illegality in the place of this local government chairman to hand over. What are they even going to hand over? When ab initio they were illegal. So they do not even have the right to hand over anything to anybody. And the HSGS are not even supposed to take over leadership by virtue of those laws that were made by this assembly. As at the time the governor allowed them to sit. They made these laws. So I think that the governor is he didn't do what is right and should obey this judgment to the letter. If he had agreed that he's going to obey this judgment, he should obey it to the letter. He should the obedience to this judgment should not be discretionary. He shouldn't obey the ones he likes and disobey the ones he doesn't like.
But in his statement so far, he has not said he will not obey the judgment.
By the actions he has taken so far, it means
What
that
are
he's
the
not obeying
actions
to the
he
letter.
has taken so far? One will interpret it as obeying judgment of the Supreme Court.
No, if he
Supreme Court had asked the local government chairman,
Okay.
and he had told them to cease to operate in that capacity.
Okay.
And he said, hand over to heads of local government administration.
What are they handing over
Now,
to?
the question would be, the one would say, the issue surrounding the outgone local government chairman, was it among the matters that were discussed or handled by the Supreme Court? But you are saying, on the other hand, that Supreme Court had authenticated Martin Zamehule, therefore all the laws made by Martin Zamehule is binding on the government, which includes bringing back
The extension
this
of the
outgone local government chairman. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I said.
Interesting. But then, when you also, so in your opinion, Honorable Kingsley, if I may ask you, in your opinion, you do not see the statement of the governor as being genuine?
It's not genuine, because like I said, there are so conflicting statements in all he has said. First, he said he disagreed with the judgment. He went further to say, I am going to obey the judgment. He also said again that on Friday, likely, his lawyers would get the certified true copy of that judgment. And it is only when they get the judgment and they study the judgment they cannot also take decision. These statements are conflicting. First, I will obey. Now, when I look at the certified true copy, I will not take decision. Which decision is he taking? The one he has already started taking, or the one he wants to take? These are two conflicting issues.
He said when he looks at the certified true copy, he will implement.
So what is
He
it?
didn't say
The
he would take
the one he
decision,
has
he will
already said.
implement.
What is implementation and taking decision? It's the same thing.
Now, let us look at, because I thought you probably would have gone to what Joe Johnson said earlier, right, when the Supreme Court judgment came out. Joe Johnson, when he was addressing the press, said that while they have been intimated of the Supreme Court judgment, and they are still understudying the implications of the Supreme Court judgment. And he also said that the Rivers State government acknowledges the Supreme Court judgment. However, that the matter of defection of the 27 lawmakers is still at the Rivers State High Court. Is still at the Federal High Court in Rivers State, sitting in Rivers State. So one would say, going by the statement of the Commissioner for Information, does it mean that the Rivers State government accepts the Supreme Court judgment? However, you know, that of the matter that is at the Federal High Court in Rivers State, they are hoping for some level of respite from there.
You see, the truth is, I deliberately avoided that area because it was not part of the questions you asked me. And again, I also felt that the Honorable Commissioner for Information, I wouldn't sit here to know if he was part of those that the Martin Samuel screen that confirmed, or is part of the ones that the illegal assembly confirmed. So however it is, Joe, by his statement, was trying to fool Rivers people. Fooling Rivers people in the sense that he's telling people that there is a matter in the High Court, that the matter of the speakership has not been handled. That was wrong. That was wrong. First, remember that this matter in High Court was supposed to come up sometime last month, and the judge decided to wait.
It came up actually.
Yes,
and the judge postponed it to April 30th.
Because of the Supreme Court judgment. Now, if that judge, in his wisdom, could allow the time pending when the Supreme Court will give judgment, he was not stupid. He therefore means that he is aware that matter was part of the matters in the Supreme Court, because the appeal court gave a judgment on this matter, and the governor appealed it in Supreme Court, and Supreme Court in their wisdom decided to put all these matters, about 5 of these matters, together to consolidate them and give judgment at the same time. And part of the judgment they gave was about the speakership of Martin Samuel. And somebody is still telling us, referring us to a matter in the High Court. I don't know how he thinks he can fool everybody at the same time. That was wrong. I deliberately didn't even want to talk about that, because talking about that means that he, the commissioner, in quote, knows that he is not even right. For even this morning, I told you that while I was coming, I was listening to him. I didn't even want to talk about that matter. I wanted to call in, but for me, calling in means nothing to me. Why would a commissioner who, by virtue of his position, whatever he says is seen to be the position of the governor, will come to the fore and be telling people that there is still a matter? And who told him about that? How sure is he that there is still a substantive matter concerning the legality or illegality of the speakership of Rivers State House of Assembly, when even the judge himself had decided to wait pending the judgment of the Supreme Court? Is he not telling us that the judge was not wise enough or doesn't know the law before he decided to wait until the judgment of the Supreme Court? And he should also remember that that same matter traveled up to appeal court, and appeal court gave a judgment on this matter. And then the Supreme Court decided to now put all these matters together and get that judgment. And somebody still telling us that there is a matter. Anyway, in politics, it is not wrong to give hope to your people. Of course, when you don't give hope to your people, it means that the people will scatter. You know, the Bible says when you strike the sheep, the shepherd.
The sheep will scatter.
When you strike the shepherd, the sheep scatters. So they don't want to scatter their sheep. And that is the reason why they are still giving them hope. And of course, even the Bible says hope does not disappoint. They can keep giving them hope. That is politics for you. Because if you don't give that hope, it means that your followership may at a time begin to have some failed, what's it called?
Begin to dwindle.
And they will dwindle, definitely.
All right, very well. Also joining me on Open Conversation this morning is Daniel Momo, a political analyst and also a regular on Open Conversation. Good morning, Daniel, and welcome.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
All right, Daniel, I want to hear your take on this story.
Yes, on the implementation of the Supreme Court of the this judgment is a law. You're only going to do yourself a favor to say you're implementing it. What that you implement or not, it has become a law.
Okay.
And you see, the idea that we will now give a time for a local government chairman to hand over is disrespectful to the Supreme Court. if you remember the former Bauchi state governor, what's his name again? He went to IBB's house to greet him there. The one in whether it was the AMPP or something they call that party.
Okay.
He was in IBB's house when the Supreme Court gave judgment and reversed and gave the governorship to another, to the person who challenged that judgment in court. At the point where Supreme Court made that judgment, the security details, everything left.
Immediately.
He ceased to be governor. He doesn't now have to now say that, when we get back to Bauchi on Monday, no. It's immediate when that pronouncement is done, even if you have not gotten the certified true copies. The security details, everything left. They left him at that occasion. And so, the idea that we'll now say the local government should go on Monday and hand over, they cease to become local government chairman immediately when Supreme Court made that judgment. It is illegal for them to even appear
in the council.
So let us do some things not because of ourselves today, but because probably tomorrow our people, our brothers, ourselves would occupy some positions in life where what we said yesterday will not be an hindrance to what is happening to our future. That's one. Two, I think, I said something here the other day where I said if Supreme Court gave judgment, I don't know if you remember, I said there's likely going to be another judgment here in Rivers State. Probably maybe one court will just give one judgment. But I'm happy that the Supreme Court, in their wisdom, did two things for me that are clear. One is to tie the Rivers money to the apron of the legislators. So if you give any judgment, you're removing them. It's immaterial. That money stops. So the money to Rivers State now has been tied to the Martin Samewule-led House of Assembly. That whatever they now approve, spending can be done. That's one. Two, I think you also, that is why when you see crisis like this, we must be careful to allow crisis go from 2023 back to date. A lot of things have happened that it is no longer easier for the governor to just say hand over to. No. I stated out here that during this crisis, there were laws that have been overridden by the governor's assets. It's a law. So the idea that the governor, go and hand over, we must now begin to check what is the current, because I tried to find out the law of the River State Local Government Amendment Law. I tried to find out some details. I couldn't get them. The governor need people from his legal department to begin to interpret what was the law passed by Amewule. That is the law of River State. It's no longer the previous law, where the governor now has the laxity and has all the powers to now say this is what would happen. So, in other way, there would always be crisis now because of the prolonged denial of this person's rights and privileges, and they now go to this stage. You see, if we are settled, or they are settled out of court and had this political solution to it, it will not get to this level. Now, what it means is that we have gotten to the final level in court, and so everybody follow the law. That's the meaning now. Don't try to play emotions. Don't try follow the law. The Supreme Court has said appear before these people, and I thank the governor of the state. At least whatever any of his aides has said for me is no longer it's immaterial. I'm going to take the governor for what he has said yesterday. And in saying that, I think also, in my opinion anyway, the governor is looking for a soft landing.
Why do you say he's looking for a soft landing?
The idea that, I would implement those judgments has already given life. You're saying you implement a rule of law person, all those ones now are sentiments. Nobody buys into that anymore. Because both parties have allowed, they dragged themselves up to the Supreme Court. And now the Supreme Court are giving judgment. And so what everybody holds now is that whatever that it is, just follow the law. And you see, the implication for me going forward, you also know that the Martin Samehule led faction, or since the Supreme Court has spoken now, it is the Rivers State House of Assembly has they also amended the local government law, which also means that, that's why I said in any way there will be crisis.
Let's hear you.
Probably, maybe some people behind the scene can become middlemen to work out some amicable way to these issues, because the governor can no longer, how it used to be, to appoint the RISEC chairman. And in any way, appointment of the RISEC chairman will go through these guys. So pretty difficult things would happen. And if I would had a chance to advise the governor, for me, as of today, which is Monday, I will release all allowances, all salaries, everything from the time that it was seized to this moment to them. That is the law today. Those are the legitimate House of Assembly. And you see, the unfortunate thing about this, you remember, I think sometime, was it in November, October, I can't remember, the seats of the Jumbo-led faction were declared vacant by Martin Samehule.
Yes, it has been. Well, I was actually going to come to that later, but go ahead.
That's the implication of when we allow ourselves to be told what the court's okay, go and do this. Would the Jumbo and others submit themselves to the Rivers State House of Assembly? So, in any way, there will be crisis, except behind the scene, some persons must work very hard to say, okay, Governor, you bring this. Yes, we know you now have the judgment. Let us see a way to work. But if we are going to follow the law, there will be crisis. There will be serious crisis. And I hope that we have people like that in Rivers State who are political, who can call the Rivers State House of Assembly, meet with the governor's side to see how to implement some of these things. But if we say that the governor would, there will be problem. There will be problem. And I hope that we will not get to the point where we will now start using the impeachment threats on each other. It will not go well. But unfortunately, whichever way, I think the governor's side would have a lot of problem going forward. A lot of problem going forward. Because all of these laws that have been passed by the then Amehule-led faction is now law in Rivers State, because the Supreme Court, in its judgment, does not even recognize that these four persons ever existed. If they ever existed, it means that the 2025 and 2024 budget was a law in Rivers State. So since it is not a law, it is the Martin Samehule faction, then faction, that is now the Rivers State House of Assembly members. And I also hope that we could have adults in the room, meaning that the Martin Samehule-led House of Assembly will overlook some things. And overlook, I mean now, will be that, okay, going forward, from what the Supreme Court has said from last Friday, going forward, this is how we want to move. Anything outside that, we will not accept. But if you say you will go back as to what has been said, what has been done, there will be a lot of crisis. And I also advise the governor's camp, whoever is occupying any office that was not cleared, that is supposed to be cleared by the Rivers State House of Assembly, that is not cleared by the one led by Martin Samehule, should have quietly gone to their house on Friday. Quietly. And if the Martin Samehule faction wants to, Martin Samehule led House of Assembly, want to make a problem, is to say that whoever has occupied that office must refund every kobo, every allowances head, since they occupied that illegal positions. And so, that's why I said there will be crisis going forward, whichever way, but except probably maybe they have people behind the scene from both parts who would act as intermediary, so that the people of Rivers State would have because whichever way we are counting, 2 years is gone. There is no way there are certain things we can't repeat. We are only going to have losses. So we hope that, or rather I hope that there could be some intermediary behind the scenes who can navigate these difficult waters and bring meaningful thing out of it.
All right, very well. One of the laws, when you were talking about the River State local government law as amended, one of it was the River State Assembly Commission.
Yes, River State Assembly Commission.
And Martin Samewule had screened, the River State House of Assembly had screened persons for that particular commission.
No, they've even taken the power of appointment away from the government.
Yes, that was part of the one of the laws that they made. But in this instance, they had screened House of Assembly Commission, and the governor did not. You know that at some point they did override the governor and vetoed that into law. But then moving forward, not too long ago, the governor inaugurated a House of Assembly Commission and the local government commission as well, right? And these were part of the things, because now we are looking, when Honorable Kingsley Akumefle was speaking about, when he was addressing the statement of the Commissioner for Information, he also said that at this point he's not sure whether he's an impersonator or actually a commissioner that was screened. That because now a lot of commissioners, you know, there was a time many commissioners resigned, and some commissioners were sworn in, but not by Martin.
Some were still there.
Some were still there, and some resigned, right, by Martin Samewule. I'm trying to figure out if the former Commissioner for Information was among the persons that resigned before Joe Johnson came in. So if that is the case, now when the governor was making his speech, right, he did not address this area of persons who were not screened by Martin Samewule. And you recall that between 2023 and 2024, Martin Samewule had written to the governor over 4 times, telling him that he had impersonators in his government and that these persons are not known to River State, right? And the governor went ahead and over time has actually established 1 or 2 agencies that were controversial, and the commissions as well that he established. And some of these persons now, while the governor was making his speech, he did not address that. That is an elephant in the room, actually. He did not address the fact that he only said local government chairman should hand over to local government head of administration. That was what he said. But when it comes to the functions, the legislative functions, and all the attachments therein, he made a statement and made a declaration, an order, because the Supreme Court was clear on sacking the local government chairman. However, the Supreme Court was also clear on the authenticity of Martin Samewule as the speaker and the River State House of Assembly. So one would say the governor should have also made clear declarations, giving, showing that, okay, now I have fully accepted the Supreme Court judgment. Because as it stands, these commissioners are still resuming work.
No, I want to believe that it is not everything that he would address in a press statement. But for me, it is good to hear that he would implement. And I want to give him the benefit of the doubt to say, okay, probably when he gets his certified true copies, he can make further pronouncement and further actions. But I felt that, or I know that the former commissioner for is it justice they call them now? Attorney General. His Attorney General is occupying that spot as I speak this morning illegally. Before Friday, I would not have spoken this way. But after Friday, if the man is still in office, the Attorney General is occupying that place illegally, because those persons were not screened by the River State House of Assembly. And that's why I said I hope that we are able to see people behind the scenes or have people behind the scenes who can, in all honesty, to say that yes, we do not want our state in crisis, and the best thing to do is to have mediators on both sides. But the governor does not have a choice. Let us, when we give some statement, let's keep. We are making it look like, oh, the governor. No, he doesn't have a choice.
But the commissioner for information, when he was speaking, you know, when he was reacting to the Supreme Court judgment, clearly said that the Rivers State government acknowledges the judgment of the Supreme Court. However, in the matter of Martin Samegwu, that there is still, in the matter of the defection, that the matter is before a federal high court sitting in Port Harcourt.
No problem.
Right.
No
now,
problem.
I am marrying that statement.
No.
Hold on. I'm marrying that statement with the governor's speech. In his speech, did not make any clear allusion to the lawmakers and the fact that so and so being done, or I acknowledge.
No.
He acknowledged the Supreme Court judgment, but there were no
I think the caveat he put was that he's waiting for his legal team to give him, or they promised him by Friday, the CTC copy will be available. And so we can cut him some slack. It's okay. Let's wait to see when he gets those certified true copies. But I'm saying that whatever his aides are saying, whatever the governor is saying, contrary to that judgment, it's a nullity. It's just like Honorable Kingsley said. You see, it's just to give a hope to a horse that is so tired of running. And you see, the point here and the danger for me is that I cannot figure out now if he was part of the first commissioners. It's difficult for me to do, but I know that the Commissioner for Justice was later brought on, screened by the then Jumbo faction. So, but I know that whatever the man is saying now is an afterthought. Whatever any commissioner is saying is an afterthought. What the Supreme Court has said is that the local government election was a nullity. The rightful members of the Rivers State Assembly, led by that speaker, is Martin Samegwu, and that everything done is tied to releasing funds to the Rivers State government. It's as simple as that. If the governor is rattling about it, one is talking, I am less concerned. What I concerned myself with is, these are the judgment of the Supreme Court, and they are law. They are law. And I expect, if that has not happened, that as at Friday, Martin Samegwu should have been restored. Full security details should have been restored to him, if that was taken away in the first place. So, going forward, I don't want to see a way that, let's not choke it, that we will now begin to threaten ourselves with impeachment processes.
That is where you do not want this to get.
I don't want it to get to that point.
Interesting.
I want the governor to respect the Supreme Court. Prepare your budget. That budget will submit yourself to those big guys now.
You know that, yeah, but then one would say budget that has been expended. You see the trick. The thing is, the budget has been expended. Any which way, it's like being between the devil and the devil. Because one, the budget has been expended, and I recall the Commissioner for Budget and Planning, when he held public citing of the 2025 budget in 2024, I think around October 2024, said that the 2024 budget has almost expended its lifespan. In fact, I'm quoting him, that it has almost expended its lifespan. And as such, anybody that is hoping that the 2024 budget will be presented is living an illusion, right? That the Rivers State government will not present the 2024 budget. And then, let me take you back again to when Martin Samegwu, the final letter they wrote to the governor to present the 2024 budget. And that was, I think, after the appeal court affirmed the speakership of Martin Samehule, and Martin Samehule wrote again. They immediately convened the plenary and, wrote the governor to present the budget. And the governor, in his answer, I recall vividly because it was discussed on my show, the governor in his answer said that Rivers State, as it stands right now, is preparing for 2025 budget. And that led a lot of speculations. Okay, so who will the governor present the 2025 budget to? Right. And so when you look at it, as at the time the governor presented the 2025 budget, we are looking at 2024 budget because that was the prayer that was before the Supreme Court. We have not even looked at the issue of the 2025 budget. The governor has too many issues in his hands because the 2025 budget already has been presented again, right? And Martin Samehule, in the course of 2024, had written the governor over and over and called on him to do the right thing right now. So if he's going back to obey the Supreme Court judgment to expend the budget that has been used, how is he going to defend that?
No, he can't. He can't defend it. You see,
okay.
There was a day I was on this show and I defended the fact that the governor has a right not to appear before Martin Samehule and others. Reason being that he appealed that judgment, and the simple act of appealing a judgment is that you disagree with that judgment.
That doesn't mean stay of execution.
No, I understand.
Does appeal translate to stay of execution?
No. I'm only stating this was my thoughts all along. So he can appear now before the House of Assembly and say, these are my reasons why I did not appear before you. Because I did A, B, C, D. 2, he can appear before them and say that, yes, in the course of this legal struggle, the 2024 budget has been overtaken by time. See, there are certain things. I'm only telling you options that he can say before.
All right.
Because he will present himself and give reasons.
Hold on.
And give reasons.
Yeah,
he must give a reason why the legal battle was ongoing. The 2024 budget has been overtaken by time. This is what we did. This is what we did. Clear documents submitted to the House. This is what we did. This was where we got the money from. This is how the money was expended. This is the balance we have. All of those things will be in and submit to the House. And that's why I said something here that whichever way we allow them to go around this circle, there will be problem. Except we have people behind closed doors. I'm telling you there will be problem. These are people you call all kinds of names. There will be serious problem. And I think that probably by today, I'm hoping that we should see a letter. I don't want to say might. We should see a letter from the Rivers State House of Assembly directing the governor to appear for 2025 budget so time. 2025
budget or 2024 budget?
No, you can't go 2024. See,
you can't say you can't go.
No, you can't.
You can disobey the Supreme Court.
No, it's not disobedience.
You could say it's a conundrum, but it's a conundrum that must be fixed.
No, I just
so now what you're saying is that political solutions should be used in sorting out the 2020. Remember that these are parties that had said and insisted that political solution is out of it, out of the equation.
It's not even budget. I'm telling you, the crisis will not arise from budget. The crisis is not even budget. It is the law that has been passed by Martin Samehule. Are they laws in Rivers State? That's where the crisis will start. Are those laws valid laws in Rivers State? So if the governor would not, I expect that the governor can go to court. That's a separate thing. Because these guys are the validly representative of Rivers State House of Assembly. So I'm not even looking at the budget. For me, the budget is a small thing. The major crisis will be that part of those laws that Martin Samehule ordered did took powers from the governor. And I expect that because the governor had the privilege, there was a day I was here with Barrister Asim or so.
Asim Adams, yes.
Yes. Where he was mentioning here that what kind of governor do we have? They sent a bill to you, you didn't say anything, no discussion, nothing, you rejected, nothing. He was angry. He was visibly angry about it here the other day. So I think for me, it's not even, the budget is a small thing. I'm telling you here, the major crisis will be, because it is when you come to implementation, you will know how difficult a law is. The law passed, a lot of laws See, I even quoted almost about 7 here. Those 7 took some powers away from the governor. That is where the crisis will be. Now you want to conduct a local government election. What law? Which of the law would you use to conduct the local government election? Which law? The old law or the one passed by Martin Samehuli? Who is the authentic speaker of the Rivers State Assembly? So for me, I'm not even looking. The budget is even a small thing. It is the laws that, including the Rivers State Funds Management and Financial Autonomy Law. A lot of powers have been taken away from the governor during that period of that crisis. And so for me, I think that is where the real issues are. Because once he accepts the Supreme Court's judgment and begin to deal with them, that is where the difficulties will come. Now nobody cares about budget. No, budget is just a small thing. When it now comes to the local government appointment of RISEC and all, then that is where you will see the fireworks. Then you will now tell them to say the law that we have passed here is no longer law in Rivers State, that it is the previous law that is now law. So I think for me, that's where the crises are. And I think that's why I said I hope that they could have some people behind closed doors who would manage this crisis well. Because I'm telling you, go and check. The governors are the real dictators in Nigeria. They do not look, when you tamper with anything concerning them with their power, you can take some finance, but power from them, it's a lot of things. And most of the laws that have been passed by Martin Samehule, as if not taking those powers completely, they shared those powers, that they now have an appointing right. So I think these are also things that the court will test the power of what is the extent that the legislative arm of government can go. Does it now concern itself from oversight and not going into appointment? Do you appoint the people you
crisis. Politics is what it is. It is called politics. And I love the word politics. If you understand what I mean by politics, this is now when the politics of Rivers State is going to be played. I have always sounded it here long ago that very soon the game will be very interesting. See, you know, in the Bible, Job says something. He said, that thing that I have dreaded of has befallen me.
that he feared so much.
That thing I fear so much, he befallen. That thing that God had been afraid of long ago is now on his head. And he has no solution to this matter. There is not like political solution.
Why do you say there is something like political solution?
Listen, there were times he should have utilized to solve these challenges politically. He could not utilize that opportunity. The governor I know is one man that is so he feels that he has the power. And so, you know, a lot of times he has made the statement that he has pulled out from the shackles that had held him down. That Rivers people should be happy now that they have freedom. He assumes he is a free man. He assumes he's now on top of every game in Rivers politics. He has called himself several names since this crisis between him and the former governor has started. So he feels that as it is now, I am in charge. And so it will be difficult for somebody who has seen himself at the top of the mountain to go down again to begin to beg. And so it will be difficult for any political solution to come. That's one. Number two, the issue of the 2024 budget There won't be time to present 2024 budget any longer. You cannot present a budget in retrospection. The Supreme Court knew what they said, and that statement is law. Having made that statement, it means that the governor is held down for disobeying the laws from the State Assembly. And having expended that money for 2024, he won't have opportunity to represent 2024 budget. What does that mean? That is now a serious crisis for the governor, and they are impeachable offenses. Expending the resources of the state without proper appropriation is a serious problem. The assembly won't give him that opportunity, because if you say you want to represent, will you bring back all the monies you've expended? So it is in retrospection, he can present that again. And the governor, remember, presented the 2025 budget just a night after Appeal Court gave a judgment. Just a night. Appeal Court gave a judgment today. The next day, in the night, they presented that budget, he passed that budget. He was challenging the court, as it were. It was a direct affront on the judiciary for an appellate court to give a judgment and said, you must not do this. He went ahead to do that just a night after that judgment. It was an affront, and that was the reason for which Supreme Court gave that judgment. He challenged the decisions of the court. Now, the issue of the allocations coming from the federal government, you remember how that issue was managed. Even the president helped him to manage that matter, but he did not handle it wisely. And that was the reason why the disobedience to that decision of the court, the Supreme Court hit him on the head. Now, some persons are saying the Supreme Court shouldn't have gone to that extent to punishing the governor and punishing the state. No. The Supreme Court, yes, the law is there for sanity. The law is there to bring peace and understanding. But when that peace and understanding is not followed and adhered to, the law will come with its punishment. And the part of that punishment was what the Supreme Court did by seizing that allocation. And they have told him this allocation can only be released only when you submit yourself to the leadership of Martins Amevule. And remember that 2025 budget, that is the thing I think, if he has the opportunity,
he can represent.
He can represent if he would have that opportunity.
He can represent it.
That if he would have the opportunity.
No,
and I know what I'm saying, because each time when you were talking here, you said let it not get to the threat of impeachment. Of course, we have gotten to that point.
No,
we have got. Let me say this, my brother. No, we are politicians. We are politicians. That is, we cannot hide the things the way they are. I can't come here. Nigerians are watching me, and I begin to talk like one who is not knowledgeable of what is about to happen. The 2025 budget, if he would have that opportunity, he would represent. But 2024 budget, there won't be time for representing. Is this now in retrospect? Cannot do that. Now, having fallen short of that law, he has disobeyed the law, the decisions of that say represent 20. At the time he should have represented them, he did not represent it, and he had expended all the allocations for that 2024 budget. They are all impeachable offenses. They are all. Again, let me also come to the issue of commissioners. As at today, maybe we'll have only 1 or 2 commissioners who are duly appointed in Rivers State government.
No, I think they're about 6 or so.
They might not be up to 6.
No, they're not.
If they are, but a lot of them.
I can list them.
Hold on.
But a lot of them, you mentioned one, the Attorney General, that one is known.
No, that one is gone.
The Commissioner for Empowerment and Employment, that one is gone. Commissioner for Commerce, those ones are gone. Commissioner for Urban Planning, there are many. They are not from that point. The Supreme Court gave that judgment. None of them will say they are commissioners any longer. No, if they mention it, they are also in disobedience of the decision of the Supreme Court judgment. The governor, I think, what he should do now, if he can, because I'm sure that between now and noon today, you might hear 1 or 2 news coming from the State Assembly. If you read the judgment very well, you remember, if you go through that judgment, the court did not recognize these other 3 people any longer. The court only said Martins and the 26. These are the authentic members of the Assembly. Taking to the fact that between the time that this crisis started, Martins Amevule and the other 26 had already suspended these other persons who went on travail in disobedience of the decisions of the assembly. And so Okojombo and the 2 or 3 other persons, no, there are 2, the 3 of them, they are no longer members of the State Assembly by virtue of the decision that were taken before now. And so every rule, every law, every decision that were made by a Martin Assembly, including the ones you have there with you, my brother, are all statutory, are valid. And so it therefore means that the governor is in a very precarious situation as it is today. The governor cannot spend, the governor cannot make any appointment, the governor cannot make any serious decisions of government as it is today. And the governor is in disobedience of so many decisions of the assembly, including the resources, the spending of the resources of this state. And these are serious offenses. Remember before now, the assembly has already brought out, is it 11 or how many decisions they brought out that the governor was in disobedience of, and these are, they call it impeachable offenses. They have already read these offenses out, okay, and now he has even included some others that the governor that even committed after that period. So the offenses that the governor has disobeyed that are impeachable are so many as it is today. And as I speak to you, you cannot tell me that I am nobody. You know, the governor has said a lot of things against the former governor and the assembly, even called them names, cows, cats, this and all that. In fact, he made bold to say that they only exist because I wanted them to exist. As it is today, they cannot exist because I don't want them to exist. As if he was the power himself. Democracy is anchored on the legislature.
Of course.
And you cannot toil with the legislature as an executive and you think you can succeed. So as it is today, everything that will happen in Rivers State is dependent on the 27 members, which Martin Samegule is leading. And I am sure that they will not have nothing to listen to this governor who has suffered them for so many months. No salary, no allowance, no local. Own constituency, me from a constituency 1, who have suffered project, nothing has come to us as a constituency project and nothing. And we think that if my assembly member, my own assembly member, and even the speaker does not go to the extent of impeaching this governor, we will record them as their constituents. Okay. We can't allow them to say, because we have suffered so much, no constituency project, no development, our member have not, in December, the few 3 assembly members in their villages were killing cows, sharing money, because they were receiving salaries from the governor. And we, our own members, did not come home with nothing, not even a grain of rice. And you think that the constituents will be happy. We are not happy. And so as it is today, we think that if they don't call back this governor and impeach him, we will record them. That is how it is, as it is today. The Supreme
Court in the judgment said you cannot exclude the 27 constituency of a state and make serious budgetary decisions. But you know, like from what you said, which is valid for me, which is correct, yes, sometimes, you know, when you predict a man, it might not be so. Sometimes there's a way crisis will humble a man. When you see crisis, it will humble you too. And I said this during, I said part of this during your town hall political crisis, this thing that your station had, which is good for the people, is that when you take a loan of success from the devil, they say check the interest rate. Don't take a loan from the devil and you become successful and you say you won't pay the interest rate. What am I trying to say? The governor did not get good advisors to advise him on what he was doing, especially when, you know, some persons were called Nebuchadnezzar. And I was with my wife that day. I said to my wife, how can you eat the food of Nebuchadnezzar, fed you, and then you are alive, and then you turn back and look at the Nebuchadnezzar and you are saying, no, you should know that he's Nebuchadnezzar. You should know. And where am I driving to? And that's why I said sometimes, you see, in politics, there is something called never. Yes, certain things can happen. I'm telling you that from my own information, that some persons will step into this crisis, all for the sake of do not impeach the governor.
And those persons are coming from the air.
No, hold on. See, we are all alive now. No, hold on. The governor of Rivers State, two things for me. Two is one. That's why I said I hope that by today, 2025 can no longer be presented, but 2024 can no longer be presented. But documents of expenditure of 2024 will be presented of what they have done with
it. It was not appropriated.
No.
So it is illegal in the first place.
No, I'm not. No, you don't get it. I'm not justifying it.
Daniel, the statement you made, let's look at it from the Constitution.
No. Let me say this so that you understand me. No, so that you understand.
Wait, hold on. Do you present a document of expenditure?
No, hold on.
No, hold on.
Okay.
Supreme Court judgment says present 2024 budget. Supreme Court judgment did not say present 2024 expenditure. They are two different things. Go ahead. I want to understand what you're saying.
Even by the law, they cannot. It's not possible anymore to come and say we want to do something. And he said it comes from a chain. Oh, we have ABC to do in a chain in 2024. No, that cannot be possible anymore.
So what expenditure are you going to present?
No, I'm coming. And I'm saying that the life of every budget has a window behind of reference during budget presentation. You would have seen budget presentation to say that, oh, we had 50%, what do they call it now? Execution in this place. We had 80% execution in this. We did this and all of that. Yes, that's why I said something that, for me, there's an excuse the governor can always give. It is left for the assembly whether to accept those excuses or not. Which is one, for me, which is germane, is that, yes, we have been in the legal battles. I have appealed those judgments because I disagree with those judgments. And it was based on that we are able to go with 2024 budget because we appealed those judgments. It is now left for the State House of Assembly whether to accept that reason or not. And for me, which is germane, is that, like you said, if 2025 window is still open, they can still present 2025 budget. But I think where the problem would come from is, like she said, which I agree. Yes, we cannot present, but money has been expended. It's a fact. It is the assembly. If the assembly wants to know, the assembly will say submit document for what you expended last year.
For what was never budgeted.
No, that's say okay. If you now say don't present document.
Let me cut stop there. If the assembly says so, it means that the assembly is disagreeing with the judgment of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said you never presented 2024 budget.
Yes.
Go and present it.
Okay,
and you are telling me that the governor will exclude my brother. Okay. The governor will come and beg them and say, let me because I was in court with you, because I appealed this judgment. Okay, that was why I did not obey you. Now let me tell you how I expended something that I never budgeted.
No. Okay, between me and you, we agree that 2024 can no longer be presented, right? No, let's agree. So that let's know what we're having a conversation on. On this table, we agreed that 2024 can no longer be presented before the State House of Assembly. But I'm saying that monies of Rivers State has been spent. They have spent money for Rivers State.
Good.
They have to show documents.
Not budgeted.
Yes,
the
not
document
budgeted.
will now be presented at the impeachment level, where you will come. Yes, that is it, because you were in disobedience of the courts and the decisions of the assembly. Don't present. Hold on, sir. Don't present 2024 budget to Oko Jumbo-led assembly. You presented it. The assembly came and the assembly said you did not present this budget. You gave it to your co-followers.
No, hold on.
Court also said so. And you are telling me that he will come and tell them how he expended that money. From what source?
No. I think, do we agree that 2025 can be presented?
Like I said here, if there will be room for that.
No, there will be
and
room.
I know why I put that clause.
No, there will be room.
Daniel, hold on.
Yeah.
Now, with respect to, because now we are looking at the spirit of the law. You know, if we are to talk about the Supreme Court judgment, we cannot subvert it.
Of course.
Right. If the Supreme Court judgment says present 2024 budget, in fact, let me use the word of the Supreme Court, appropriation bill. Present the appropriation until a proper appropriation bill is enacted. it means that there was no bill, there was no law backing up the expenditure. Understand that? The expenditure.
Anyway.
So now, two things. Either the governor spent from his personal income and River State money is still untouched, which he will now go to the assembly to present the budget and say, the money has not been touched. And probably if the assembly approves it, he will now refund himself. That's on one hand. Or, on the other hand,
okay,
he has to present the budget and then start defending whether the money is there or not. But a budget, what the Supreme Court says is, hold on, is present a budget. Now, if you're saying present expenditure, expenditure takes effect when there is a probe. You cannot present present expenditure as an appropriation bill.
No, let me see.
You can hold on. You cannot go to the House of Assembly to present expenditure and tell them that the 2024 budget. That is not the exercise. The exercise, as instructed by the Supreme Court, is budget appropriation bill, which is not yet a law, right? Expenditure is if the governor is being probed and the questions, where is River State money for 2024? That's where the governor can now bring out expenditure. It's a different ball game whether it was approved or not. It's a different conversation. But you cannot present expenditure in place of a budget.
No, hold on. This is what
Go ahead.
For every judgment, it is not all judgments that are easily executed. Some would have to. You have to sit down.
Do you know what?
No,
do you know the role of ADR?
No, I'm coming.
Hold on. Do you know the role of ADR in litigation?
No, I'm coming.
The role of ADR is alternate dispute resolution,
No.
which could have happened prior to this time. Don't you agree?
No, hold on. The Supreme Court gave judgment about local government in Nigeria. Was it implemented? Has it been implemented? It has not been implemented. You still needed some political solutions to reach an agreement, which is one. What did the federal government do? Called all state governors to say, okay, please can we in the next 3 months let all states who have caretaker, who have all kinds of nomenclature, go to your state and conduct elections. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court judgment should take effect immediately. It didn't do that. 2, Supreme Court said pay money directly to local government. As the federal government done that, it has not been done. Jack is still being operated. Why? There still need is political solutions to get to some point. So what I'm saying,
the Supreme Court's local government autonomy situation is a completely, entirely different scenario. Hold on. From what is obtainable in River State.
No.
There could be, there could be arbitrations, there could be bottlenecks that needs to be strengthened out. Of course, the Central Bank of Nigeria has come to explain why that has not taken effect yet. As to hold on, as to there is need for signatories and all of that. And recall that a 3-month moratorium was given for local governments for states that have caretaker committees to conduct. These are the things.
Those are political solutions. That's what I'm saying.
Hold on. In River State is an entirely different thing. This is more like this is local government. Hold on. Local government autonomy judgment by Supreme Court was not given amidst crisis in quotes. River State judgment came amidst crisis that has defied political solutions. And now, suddenly, there might be a window for political solution. If we are to look at River State as it were currently, who are the so-called elders? Hold on. Who are the elders that will make this peace? Considering that the elders have taken sides. We have elders on the side of the governor and elders on the side of the lawmakers, and the other elders that you are talking about, the microscopically infinitesimal number of elders that you're talking about right now, so far has been silent, even when their voices was desperately needed to bring sanity in political crisis in River State.
No, see what I'm saying.
So I want a clarity on these concerns that I've raised.
See, the truth is, money has been expended in River State in 2024, not approved by the River State House of Assembly. But I think that we can get to a solution to say this A, B, C, D. This is how we have done it. I don't think, you see, mark this data. I don't think that the next thing that will go will become something that it will now be an impeachable offense. No, it will take a long time.
Okay.
I think the first thing for me, which will be a blessing, is that probably, hopefully, maybe by next week, let the governor of the state appear before the River State House of Assembly.
Okay.
Let them pass even the 2025 budget first. Let something keep going because salaries will be paid, a lot of things will be done. Let that happen. Then we can now begin to look at what are the things that happened in 2024. How come River State money was spent without approval? And let's see the reasons that would come. But in clear.
And you think the assembly will give him audience to present 2025 budget without the 2024 budget?
Think that the assembly would want to witch hunt him to that extent.
Witch hunt?
No.
Did you call that a witch hunt?
No. What I mean is that.
Do you think it's a fair language to use at this point? Considering everything that's happened.
No, I'm not even looking at that. We are looking at the end point is to impeach him. No, I don't think that is the first thing they have in mind.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't think that is the first thing. But I know, like I said, there will still be a crisis coming.
There will still be a crisis. All right, very well.
And I don't see it in the budget. I don't see
in the budget. You see in other things. All right, very well. Sorry,
don't call him
Kingsley Akumefule. Sorry, as we round up, very quickly your final submissions, and it's also very interesting to note that the governor had also met some people, chiefs and first-class chiefs, and part of the bills that were passed into law by Martin Samehule is the traditional rulers law, and also you recall that of the commissions of public inquiry law, setting up probes and all that, where they made it tripartite, where it has the power is now shared between the governor, the assembly, and the commission. Right, there are a lot of laws that I have been going through, and it's coming to my head like the powers of the governor is seriously whittled down, very seriously whittled down, and the assembly, by the laws that the governor ignored and did not, negotiate with them on, they have also, right now, they are even much more powerful than they were when they were inaugurated. How do you see all this playing out moving forward as we round up?
Yeah, very simple. The governor refused to listen the time he was supposed to listen. And when a child refuses to listen to his parents, the tendency that he would definitely regret of those disobediences from his parents will definitely be there. Whatever you think that the assembly had done, they did because the governor was not ready to, understand their position as legislators. And of course, having done those things, it will be difficult to undo them. I only pray and wish that the governor would run very speedily to see if there will be a little window, just like Senator Magnus Abe had admonished on the day of that judgment on Friday. He said that because the governor failed to utilize the opportunities he had, that now these things have been struck. But however, that there's still a window of little opportunities for the governor, only if the governor will be ready to take those opportunities. If he is ready, and I know that he will because he does not have option, let him move very quickly. But if he doesn't, the hammer or the gavel is about to be hit, and if that thing is hit on his head, he will definitely regret all the decisions he had taken. But I pray and wish that the State Assembly does what is right, because if they don't do, who will question them?
All right, very well. Thank you so much, Kingsley Akumefule, for coming on Open Conversation. It was a pleasure having you. And thank you so much, Daniel Momo. It was also a pleasure having you.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you so much, our viewers, for always staying connected to us. I wish we had more time, but then We have www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Laurentia Ogu. Transition News comes up next. Do not go away.